You show up to the cruise terminal, bags packed, passport in hand, and then they say, "Sorry, you're not getting on." Sound like a nightmare? In 2025, this is happening more than ever, and not just to rookies. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 13 surprising reasons thousands of passengers are being denied boarding, and how to make sure it never happens to you. And reason 8? It involves dogs, meds, and a very uncomfortable conversation with security. Don't miss it. After 50-plus cruises and helping over 1 million cruisers online, I've seen it all. And trust me, most people never see these problems coming. But after this video, you will. Reason 1, health protocol failures. Imagine arriving at your dream cruise through South America, passports in hand, excitement in the air, only to be told at the terminal that you're not allowed to board. That's exactly what happened to a couple this year who didn't have proof of a yellow fever vaccination, a requirement for one of their port stops. In 2025, cruise lines aren't just looking for COVID clearance anymore. Some itineraries now require destination-specific vaccines, recent health documentation, and stricter symptom screening than ever before. Even something as common as a mild cough could land you in secondary screening, or worse, denied at the gate. Pro tip, always check vaccine and illness requirements per port, not just what the cruise line lists, and double-check any pre-boarding health forms, because up next is a document mistake even seasoned travelers make without realizing it. Reason 2, expired or incomplete travel documents. Here's a scenario that catches thousands every year. A traveler shows up smiling at check-in, bags packed, ready to go, only for the agent's face to drop. "I'm sorry you can't board." Why? Their passport expires just 5 months after the cruise ends. In 2025, more countries, and by extension cruise lines, require that your passport be valid for at least 6 months after your return date. It's not enough for it to simply be valid on the day of departure, and it's not just expiration dates. Missing visa waivers, incorrect passport names, or even a low-quality passport photo can be a reason to deny you at the terminal. Pro tip, you need 6 months minimum validity from your cruise return date, not just departure. And yes, that includes kids. Coming up, something sitting in your suitcase right now might get you pulled aside, or worse, sent home. Reason 3, prohibited items in luggage. Most cruisers know you can't pack weapons or illegal substances, but in 2025, the list of banned items has grown, and it's catching people by surprise. That everyday power strip you use at home, now banned by many cruise lines due to fire risks. That legal CBD oil you keep for back pain, confiscated on the spot, sometimes triggering full bag searches. Even certain medications which are legal where you live might violate port-specific laws. One family had their cruise nearly ruined in Fort Lauderdale when a forgotten pocket knife triggered a full luggage inspection. They barely made it on board after hours of delay. Pro tip, when in doubt, leave it out or call ahead and ask. Do not rely on TikTok tips or old message boards. Cruise security doesn't play around. But it's not just what you pack, it's how you act. Let's talk behavior and how it could cost you your entire trip. Reason 4, behavior at check-in. Check-in isn't just about documents. Your behavior matters more than ever in 2025. Cruise lines now have a strict zero-tolerance policy for intoxicated or disruptive passengers. If you show up slurring your words, stumbling, or even just arguing too aggressively with staff, you may be denied boarding on the spot, no refunds. And it's not just individual behavior. One bad apple in your group can ruin it for everyone. A real case out of Galveston? One friend started shouting at a baggage handler. The entire group was denied boarding under the cruise line's group responsibility policy. Pro tip, save the party for the pool deck. Treat check-in like airport security, calm, respectful, alert. That first impression counts. The next one will shock you because it's not about what you just did, it's about something from a previous cruise you thought was over. Reason 5, unpaid balances or disputes. You're standing at check-in, excited, everything feels perfect, until they tell you, there's an outstanding balance on your account. It happened to a couple in Miami this year, a $75 charge from 2 years ago that never fully processed. They were denied boarding, even though their current booking said paid in full. Cruise lines in 2025 are running advanced payment systems that flag any unpaid balance, no matter how old. That could mean disputed onboard charges, overlooked port fees, or even cancellation penalties from a past trip. And the worst part? Most people only find out at the terminal. Pro tip, call the cruise line 72 hours before sailing and confirm a zero balance across all past bookings. Screenshot or print the confirmation. What happens if you do everything right, but just show up a little late? Let's talk heartbreak. Reason 6, late arrival. You're in the Uber, bags packed, watching the clock. You're almost there. But in 2025, almost won't cut it. A group of 12 missed their Alaskan cruise this year by just 17 minutes. Their shuttle was delayed in Seattle traffic. The ship was still docked when they arrived, but the doors were already closed. $28,000 in vacation plans, gone. Cruise lines now enforce non-negotiable cutoffs. It doesn't matter if the ship hasn't sailed yet. If boarding is closed, you're done. Late arrivals are becoming more common with same-day flights and transportation mishaps. And cruise ships? They won't wait. Pro tip, always arrive in the port city the night before. Budget for delays. Sleep near the terminal if you must. Better bored than broken-hearted. Coming next, why something as natural as pregnancy or a baby's age can be a surprise deal-breaker at check-in. Reason 7, pregnancy or infant age restrictions. You've planned the perfect baby moon or a first cruise with your newborn, but when you show up at check-in, denied. Cruise lines in 2025 enforce strict medical policies. If you're 24 weeks pregnant or more, you cannot sail. No exceptions, even if you feel fine or your doctor clears you. Babies? Most cruise lines require infants to be at least 6 months old, and for longer or exotic sailings, 12 months is the cutoff. Parents have been turned away because their baby was just a few days too young. Pro tip: always double confirm restrictions in writing, and check again before paying your final balance. Not all agents are up to date, and my doctor said it's fine won't change the cruise line's rules. Now here's where things get sniffy, and not in a cute puppy way. Reason 8, sniffer dogs and drug triggers. At many ports in 2025, you're greeted not just by cruise staff, but by canine units. These dogs are trained to detect everything from illegal substances to residue, even certain prescription meds. One traveler in Florida was pulled aside after a drug-sniffing dog flagged her backpack. The culprit? A trace of legally purchased CBD balm, not legal at sea or in some ports. Even with a prescription, if it isn't clearly labeled, you can be denied boarding or flagged for further investigation. Cruise lines aren't law enforcement, but they cooperate with local and port authorities. Pro tip: bring all medications in original packaging, print prescriptions when traveling internationally, and leave behind anything in a legal gray area. But it's legal at home. Won't help you here. Ever think your outfit could get you kicked off before boarding? Let's talk dress codes. Reason 9. Dress code on embarkation day. Boarding day is casual, right? Not always. In 2025, several premium cruise lines have started enforcing dress codes right at embarkation. A couple arriving for a luxury Mediterranean sailing was held up for wearing ripped jeans and flip-flops. Their check-in was delayed until they changed. Another guest wearing a slogan tee deemed offensive was asked to leave the terminal. While cruise dress codes vary, many lines now expect at least smart casual attire on day 1, especially in the VIP suite or concierge areas. Pro tip: avoid flip-flops, ripped clothing, beachwear, or controversial slogans. Treat boarding day like boarding a business-class flight. Dress to impress the crew, they're watching. But what if the cruise line blocks you before you even get there? Reason 10. Pre-cruise behavior flags. Think customer service emails don't follow you to the ship? Think again. In 2025, cruise lines have upgraded their internal flagging systems. Rude emails, excessive complaints, threats, or chargeback disputes can result in a security review, often without you even knowing. A traveler out of Los Angeles was shocked to find a hold on her booking at the terminal. Why? She had sent aggressive emails threatening legal action over a dining change. It triggered a manual review and delayed her boarding for hours. Cruise lines keep everything: phone transcripts, emails, chat logs. If you're flagged as combative, you may get denied before stepping foot on the gangway. Pro tip: be firm but respectful in all communications. Escalate only when necessary, and never make threats. And the reason you'll never find in the cruise brochure, but it's one of the most dangerous. Reason 11. Port-specific rules, the silent killer. Cruise lines might get you to the port, but local laws decide what happens next. And in 2025, those laws are catching more travelers than ever. You may not know it, but your favorite reef-safe sunscreen could be banned in Aruba. Drones, illegal in parts of Greece. Even over-the-counter medication, flagged as controlled substances in some Asian ports. One cruiser had their luggage held in Japan for carrying standard cold medicine, legal at home, restricted abroad. Another was denied disembarkation in St. Thomas for carrying a drone. Pro tip: cruise line policies don't override local port laws. Research each port individually, especially if you're packing meds, tech, or personal care products. And now, one of the most preventable reasons people are turned away, simply because they didn't finish checking in. Reason 12. Incomplete or misleading online check-in. In 2025, cruise lines expect your entire check-in process to be done online before you even pack. That means ID photos, passport scans, signed waivers, health forms, and even your port arrival time. If you skip a step or think you'll fix it at the port, you're risking an automatic denial. A couple in Barcelona thought the missing selfie upload was no big deal. Security flagged them as unverified. By the time they completed the process, boarding had closed. They watched the ship sail away from the terminal. Pro tip: complete every part of your check-in at least 72 hours before sailing. Make sure your passport name matches your cruise ticket exactly. Print copies, save backups to your phone. But what if you filled everything out and then changed just one little detail? Reason 13. Last-minute name changes or booking edits. A honeymooner in Fort Lauderdale stood crying at the check-in desk. Why? Her cruise ticket had her maiden name, but her passport had her new married name, and it didn't match. In 2025, cruise lines treat last-minute name changes or booking edits as potential security flags. Even if it seems minor to you, it can result in manual holds, denied boarding, or even automatic cancellation. Some travelers try to swap names within 72 hours of sailing due to illness or scheduling. That's a huge risk. Cruise security systems are now synced with international watch lists and booking fraud detection. Pro tip: ensure your name and ID match exactly, letter for letter. If a change is needed, call at least 7 days before sailing and get written confirmation of approval. So now you know the 13 biggest cruise boarding mistakes, and more importantly, how to avoid them. If even one of these caught you off guard, you're not alone. Thousands of cruisers are denied every year for reasons most don't see coming. But now, you're ahead of the curve. What's the closest you've come to missing a cruise? Flight delay? Bad paperwork? A forgotten passport? Drop your story in the comments. I might feature it in the next video. And hey, if this video saved you even a little stress, do me a favor. Hit that like button so YouTube shows it to someone else who needs it. Subscribe for weekly tips to help you cruise smarter, cheaper, and stress-free. You're not just planning a vacation, you're becoming a pro traveler. Let's cruise smarter, together.